Hi guys, thank you again so much for your flexibility as we do a little bit of asynchronous learning today on Friday, July 10th. I appreciate your patience and understanding as I had a previously scheduled family commitment that's taking me away from the computer all day today. So I hope that this quick video will kind of go over what we read last night for homework and where we are going in this weekend. So, to quickly recap Chapter 1, please feel free to skip ahead a little bit if you don't want any spoilers and you haven't finished it. But I do expect you all to have finished reading Chapter 1 by the time we meet on Monday. So, Chapter 1 starts off with Trevor talking about his Sunday routine. His mom takes him to 3 different churches on Sundays: the mixed race church, which is exciting and fun pastor trying to make Jesus look cool. There's a white church that focuses on closely analyzing Bible stories, which Trevor, who is only allowed to listen to Bible stories and Bible music, is really good at. And then finally, the day ends at a really long black church service. However, Trevor says he really enjoys watching the priest perform exorcisms on the churchgoers. So that's what kind of highlights the differences between these 3 churches. Trevor shares a story through his Catholic school experience about why his mom is such a fast runner. We know that his mom is very religious. She got him into a religious elementary school for a short time. You'll learn a little bit more about that later in the book. And every year during sports day, he and his mom always win the running competitions because his mom is frequently chasing after Trevor when he's up to mischief. Trevor then begins to share a story about one particular day when they could not get to church in their Volkswagen because it was broken down. Trevor tried to blow it off as an omen to tell him not to go to church. However, his mom was not having any of it and put them all on a minibus. Trevor had one little brother at this point, a baby brother named Andrew. Trevor describes the racial and tribal prejudices against different members of the black community in South Africa, and explains that on their way home, when they were trying to get back on the minibus, his mom got into a verbal fight with the minibus driver who threatened their lives. As he was speeding off in the opposite direction of their home, he slowed down quickly at a stoplight, and Trevor's mom threw him out of the moving van and wrapped her arms around their baby brother and rolled out of the car to run away to safety at a gas station. This couple, he describes it as maybe about a mile away. They've been running for a while and outran the minibus drivers. This is a really important scene because it talks about how his mom is standing up for herself and for her family, even though they are not a traditional family. And his mom's bravery in taking a sleeping elementary school student and throwing them out of a bus and just telling them to run. The chapter ends with a touching scene between Trevor and his mom as Trevor says, "Maybe next Sunday we let Jesus come to our house instead of going off to church." He also foreshadows some other future plot developments later in the text that I'm not going to give away because you should have read the book. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, finish chapter 1. What I want to talk about today in a online format is what it was confusing, or what questions do you have about apartheid, and with some details that you learned about apartheid through chapter 1. So a lot of discussion about the tribal differences and the prejudices that Black South Africans had for each other. So you probably wrote them down in your metacognition notes, and I just want you to put them into a virtual format on a Padlet. Additionally, I want to challenge you to make some connections between the role of religion in Trevor's life to the role of religion in your lives. And then finally, I want you to think ahead and make a hypothesis about what might happen at the end of the book. What do you think Trevor and his mom's relationship will look like when we make it to the end of the book? You're going to answer these questions on a Padlet. Now, this link is also in your email, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. So under each of these questions, you're going to click the plus button. I'll do this one. And your name should come up. If it doesn't, please put your name in here, or you can type your first name as a title. And you're going to type the answer to your question. So I'm going to say that three churches in my life Um, my parents also took me to church every Sunday, but unlike Trevor, I continued going. Also, my mom never of a car. That's how you type your response. You can click out of it and then answer the next question. Now I'm going to get rid of that so you guys can't see. But that's essentially where we're going to be able to collate our responses. And what's great about this is I've made this Padlet available to both my morning and my afternoon students, so you guys can meet a couple more people from around the state as we go through this project. You also have a new piece of homework tonight. This should have been available for you guys on the first day of classes, but it was just made available today. So we're going to do this over the weekend for homework. When you click launch the course through the Realize It portal, you're going to see a new green button. It's going to be called survey number 1. Obviously, this is my screenshot. You can't see survey 2 and 3, and neither can I. But you should see a survey 1 button at the top. And these instructions are in your email as well, but I do need you to complete that as soon as possible. Again, that happens before you click into week 2. Additionally, by Monday, I'd like you to complete the Check Yourself and Weekly Reflection activities. And these are going to help prepare us to make sure that we're done with all of this week's work and can move on to next week's work and not have to worry about missing any grades. Please try to complete all of this week's assignments by tomorrow so I can go in and grade it over the weekend and touch base with anybody who's missing work. So when you get paid on Monday, it's a reflection of all your work and you don't miss out on any payment because you're running late on assignments. If you have any questions about any of this content, please feel free to email me. I'm looking forward to reading through your discussions over the weekend. I do want to point out that your participation on the Padlet is going to count for your attendance in class today. So I'm going to be going through the Padlet and marking who is responding and who is not. And that is going to count for the same thing that it would count as if you were on the Zoom call with me today. I have written this in your email, but please make sure you're doing that. If you have any questions, again, please email me, but I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you again so much for your flexibility today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday.